Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ranked and Reviewed, where we are reviewing the Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm your host, as always, TOMYE West, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus.
Hello.
Man, I left my 3D glasses in the car. I didn't think this occasion would call for it, you know what I'm saying? So, with that, we just got out of seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, before we get into our thoughts of the movie, we're going to do a quick overview. And while I bring that up, ALANNIS, let's get this out of the way. Are we ever seeing a movie that's not in 4DX again?
If it is an option to see it in 40x, we are seeing it in 40x, baby. Even movies, at times we don't want to see. You're going to see Dungeons and Dragons. That's how much you like 40x.
Man,
But we're not going to see Coldplay.
dude, that's such an odd thing. Coldplay, like a live Coldplay concert in 4DX. Like, what? People pushing you and shit?
Their music, like, because you think it would be a lot of gentle rocking, and that shit would put me to sleep anyway. So
And it was all yellow. If they don't like the cinema yellow. So, as we said, we just were done watching the Super Mario Brothers movie. The overview goes a little like this. The Super Mario Brothers movie, with a rating on IMDb of 7.8 out of 10. With a runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes, this is rated PG. And the synopsis goes a little like this. A Brooklyn plumber named Mario travels through the Mushroom Kingdom with a princess named Peach and an anthropomorphic mushroom.
Oh, it's a hard word to say. Anthropomorphic.
Anthropomorphic. Let's work together.
Yeah, that one.
That word with too many syllables. Mushroom named Toad to find Mario's brother Luigi and to save the world from a ruthless, fire-breathing Koopa named Bowser. ALANNIS, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie?
It was better than what I hoped for, which is good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. A lot of that good time, I think, was 40x, and it would be interesting to see it not in 40x. I still think it would be a great movie, but I'm also going to say right now, if you have the option available to you, see it in 40x, because that was next level. Like, it made the movie, I think it was paced well, but this made any moments where I might have lulled still exciting. I think there's very few of those moments there to begin with.
Definitely, 100%. Now, I'm going to say this straight up. We both left the theater confused as to how we felt on the film being just a film. Because when you experience it in 4DX and you enjoy that, if you are a fan of that sort of immersive experience, or like that sort of like, I guess people would want to call it a gimmick, like 3D was called a gimmick, but I don't think this is a gimmick. It's just the way people look at movies. Some people just want to sit in front of a screen, watch a movie, and that's it. And that's fine. That's totally, completely fine. But this movie was the best time I've ever had in my entire life at a cinema. I thought Avatar 2, Way of the Water, was amazing in 3D IMAX. It was definitely worth seeing in IMAX 3D. But if I could take it back now, I would go see it at 40x from Village. What about you, ALANNIS?
Absolutely, and I'm hoping they do like what they did with the last Avatar movie, and we get another chance at that, because that would be next level, I think. And it'd be interesting to compare the two experiences as well.
I'm not joking when I say that I had so much fun in this movie that I honestly can't fault anything in the movie, really. Like, I can't really find anything in the movie that stuck out to me that I didn't like, because my experience with this movie was just all around a good fucking time. You know what I mean? With that, like, let's do a sort of play-by-play of this movie. And sort of, okay, so we're going to avoid spoilers for the first half of this review. So we're going to try and talk as much about this movie as we can without any spoilers for the movie. But then when we get to a point where we feel like we want to talk spoilers, we're going to let you all know. If you haven't seen it, come back and watch the review when you have and finish it off and see what you think. If you agree with what we thought about this movie. So
100%. I am in agreement.
So, obviously, Mario gets sucked into this pot and taken to the Mushroom Kingdom, where he is told that Bowser is coming to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom and everywhere else. And Mario is sort of like the unlikely hero in this. He's like not the... He wasn't born a hero. He wasn't born with superpowers. He wasn't like, can go big in his like town of Brooklyn, which, again, let's talk about that, ALANNIS. We both said we feel as if this movie spoke to, played homage to the original Super Mario Brothers from 1993. Because, ALANNIS, correct me if I'm wrong, is it ever mentioned in Nintendo history before the Super Mario Brothers movie in 93 that the Mario Brothers came from Brooklyn?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of either. So for them to stick to that plot line where they own a plumbing company, they're called the Super Mario Brothers Plumbing. It has a little nice Easter egg on the truck where Mario's wearing the cape from Super Mario World, like the yellow cape. And they've got like a TV ad. It's like, we come clean your pipes. We'll do it. We're the best at it. We're the Super Mario Brothers. So they took that element from the 1993 movie, which I find really cool because it's almost like they were like, yeah, we know this movie's terrible. We know it's a blemish on the Nintendo sort of franchise and the Mario brand, but we should still acknowledge it and kind of make it known that we realize that it is a part of the Mario history, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
What did you think about how they did that?
I think it is. I think it's also a cult classic as well. Like there are people out there with love for that movie that I think would have been happy to see that as well. Like, so I think it was. It is an important part of Mario, especially in the movie. Well, I won't say live action because this wasn't that, but the movie or TV show aspect of the game, like the movie is. It happened, and it is acknowledged, like it or hate it, kind of thing. I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very surprised that they didn't sort of get the two stars of that movie to kind of like do a voice, just like a sort of cameo voice. Like that would have been interesting. You know what I mean? To have them come in. I mean, maybe they did. Like, to be honest, like for a week,
he was complaining that they didn't get him in to be Luigi, but Bob Hoskins, Mario, he's dead. He passed away.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
When did he pass away?
Some time ago. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I know he did pass away.
Was it like in the 90s? Was it in the 2000s?
I'm pretty sure it was in the last 10, 15 years, I think.
All right. Well, what we're going to do quickly before we continue with like a play-by-play of this movie and sort of things, let's look up exactly who did what voice, and let's discuss what we thought about the voices, because I think that everyone had their worries going into this movie with the cast that they had picked. Chris Pratt as Mario, that was the biggest concern for most people, was the fact that Chris Pratt was going to be voicing Mario. Now, ALANNIS, what did you think of Mario, Chris Pratt? What did you think, how did you think he did for this movie?
It was, at no real point did I really think it was Chris Pratt. Like, I don't think it was perfect, but I think, especially considering how it could have been and how I thought it would have been, he did a good job. Yeah, I can't really fault it, especially in the context of the movie. And as we said on the way back, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. I think if he had more dialogue, it might have been a little less fitting. At least for maybe the first movie while he's being introduced as who he is. And establishing it is different. He doesn't sound like Mario, apart from a couple of times when he's intentionally trying to sound like it and throw back to it. But I think for a first movie, they made the wise decision with him not having a lot of the heavy dialogue to introduce.
But the interesting thing is the balancing act that they pulled off with that, which is that if you don't pay attention to the fact, like if you're not paying attention to how much dialogue is actually coming out of each character's mouth at every moment, you won't even think that Chris Pratt barely talked. You will just think he did a great job of the voice. Whereas if it had gone opposites, where they'd given him heavy, heavy, heavy dialogue, I think that's where people would have been like, this doesn't feel like Mario. But like, I feel like every character around him spoke the lines that Mario would have spoken if cooler heads hadn't prevailed, sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, you know, Princess Peach was the one who's basically setting up the whole setup of the movie and like explaining how it works to Mario. And Toad sort of like along for the adventure to like kind of take that mantle of being like, let's go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, and I thought on the trailer we saw the let's go in the Donkey Kong part. Yeah. Why did we not get it there and we got it at the end instead?
I think misdirect.
It was but again on this trailer. I'm pretty sure they have the animation of his mouth and everything saying it. You know what I mean? So I reckon maybe they even went back after the trailer had come out and gone, let's not overdo it. Maybe let's take a few let's goes out. Let's maybe take a few Mamma Mia's out. Let's maybe take a here we go, or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure they would have had to have like pulled back on that a little bit just because they were worried about like tarnishing it or whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe that line was in it to begin with. I kind of feel like it's the whole thing that we had with Scream 6, where Ghostface did not say, I'm something different.
Yeah.
I'm not like the other Ghostface, I'm something different. But that was in all the trailers and everything. So who knows? Maybe there's going to be that in like an extended cut or something. Like, not that it extends much, but it is something that was noticeable because you're expecting
Mario, the Let's Go edition.
Yeah, and I mean, what was one of your concerns? Like, you voiced one of your concerns, which was you weren't happy with the amount of Yoshi in the movie. Yoshi is in the movie. Let's just say that, but he is simply a cameo Easter egg prop sort of thing in the background. You know, like there's a bunch of Yoshis in the background, like 20 of them, like running around on sort of when they're heading towards Donkey Kong's jungle, I think so. I think that's where it was, and so. But as I said to you in the car when you said not enough Yoshi, not enough this, I was like, but they need to save things for number 2. Like, if this movie is going to do as well as analysts claim it will, like, there's going to be a number 2. And am I happy about that? I am.
Me too.
What did you think, ALANNIS? Because I find your reaction to this movie probably the most interesting, which is the fact of that you were dead certain this was going to be a piece of shit. And you came out of it with different views on it. Talk about that.
Yeah, as I said, I don't think it was perfect, but I think it was pretty damn good. It was a lot better than I thought it would have been of. I thought it would have been, like we said, more Chris Pratt going, let's go. It's a me. But it was all, it fit in, it wasn't overused. And I also thought his voice, when he did speak, was going to be overused, not sound as good as it did. I thought it was just going to sound like Chris Pratt with a shitty twist on his voice, which it wasn't. I think that was the main problem I had with it. I knew it was always going to be aesthetically good. But and I think the pacing of the story as well. I didn't expect it to be paced as well as it was. I expected to have the depressing moments drawing out a little longer, things like that.
And that's what me and ALANNIS were talking about in the car on the way back for this movie, which is when you go into a Pixar movie, you're guaranteed to have moments where you're like holding back tears, like they make it more emotional than it needs to be, like. And I think that was one of my main gripes with seeing kids' 3D movies is the way they try to shove sadness into it or make it emotional or not make it like they try to make it have like a sentimental feeling or like a message that, you know, is really serious. And what I liked about this movie is that we went in we watched it and we had a great time the entire way through. There wasn't much in the way of like, oh, well, this kind of is sad or sucky, you know? Like, as I was saying to you in Alana, it's like, when I watched Toy Story 3, the last half of that movie, I basically held back tears the whole time. And I was like, man, I do not come to the movies to feel like this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to come and leave the movie joyful and happy. Like, for instance, tonight, it started off really badly with us. We had the worst time finding a car park. It sucked. It was the worst. Knowing
You're both ready to Hulk out.
I was gonna park in the disabled car parking spot. And listen, before you judge me, I am a man of morals. I understand that is completely wrong to park your car in a disabled spot. But listen, we were gonna miss the Mushroom Kingdom.
Priorities.
Dude, I said to you, I'm gonna get out of the car and just hold my leg and pretend I've got a limp. Like, but it started off rough, and I was in a bad mood. Like, I was like smacking my car window. I was smacking the fucking steering wheel, going, "Come on, bro!" Like,
there was that prick as well that drove straight in and tried to take the spot we were trying to turn into.
And I was losing it. So when I got out of the car and like I power walked like to get to the cinema, and I was in a bad mood. I was like, I don't really want to see a movie. I'm in a bad mood. Like, this got me frustrated, blah, blah, blah. And then the movie started, and we felt for the first time 4DX. And I have not left a cinema this happy in forever. I think I may have not left the cinema this happy since something like maybe Jackass 3D, because of that added layer to making it something new. You know what I mean? Like, where you could have been just another Jackass movie, but the 3D is what made it a step above the rest, where you're like, this is different. This is a different experience, you know?
Yeah.
And 4D takes that step of 3D that Jackass did and all that, and takes it to the maximum, you know? So for anyone that has been to a 4D cinema, like, there's one in Legoland at Chadstone. There's one at Movie World, I believe. Like, isn't there Shrek 4D or some shit?
It was when I was a kid. It was
Batman.
Marvin the Martian.
Did you have the Batman one as well, where you will like move and it was
Yeah.
So for everyone that's experienced 4D before, I don't think you've experienced 4D quite like this before. I think this 4D is completely on another level. Like, they have really made it an experience. And I feel like in a long time, this is the first time that I felt like the price justifies the movie.
Absolutely.
Like, would you pay, again, that price to see things in 4D?
Considering if you go to IMAX, it's $40 a ticket. If you go to Gold Class, it's, I think, $30 a ticket. If you go to VMAX, it's $24 a ticket. Apart from, even I think even the standard session is $22. So you're at most paying $10 more. That is worth every cent. The difference.
Me and Alanis walked out of this movie smiling so hard, and we were like, holy shit, man. Like, we are never, ever seeing a movie that is in 4DX, not in 4DX. And I suggest everyone do the same. Like, if you haven't checked 4DX out, do it with this movie. This movie is the perfect movie to experience 4DX for the first time. And the movie itself is fucking great. It is great. I would put it up there with one of the best video game adaptations ever. Alanis, what about you?
It is definitely up there. It is one of the better. Like, there's so many bad ones, and this was a genuinely enjoyable one, which there's few. So yeah, it's, I don't know if at the top, but it's up there. It's definitely in the top echelon, I think, of video game movies.
Definitely. Like, look, I know everyone's like, The Last of Us was fucking amazing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a Last of Us person. And then on the same note, I'm not really a Mario person. Like, I don't really play platformers. Like, I like Odyssey. It was great. It was fine. But they're the sort of games that I never finish. They don't hold my attention. Like, I'll get pretty far in them, and then I just, you know what I mean? And so for me to come into a Mario movie and come out as fucking ecstatic as I was is really, really a credit to this movie, you know? Okay, so let's run through some more of the voices. What did you think about the voice of Princess Peach, which is played by Anya Taylor-Joy?
I don't know who that is or where I would know him from if I would. But
I'm going to tell you right now what she's been in, if you'd like. So she was in. I'm trying to see. She was in The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance in 2019. She seems like she's a new actor, a newcomer. So she was in The New Mutants.
Oh, that movie was bad.
Yeah. She was in Last Night in Soho. She's in the TV show Peaky Blinders. She Vampire Academy, The Witch from 2015.
Nothing I remember him, but
yeah, it's weird, man. Like that's weird that she got like put in that role when you compare it to the rest of the cast. I'm not trying to shit on her or anything. She did a great fucking job. But like when you look at the rest of the cast, even I think the voice of Luigi, do you know who that is?
I do not.
Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. There you go.
So even him, he's still got more cachet, I feel, than her. But she fucking killed it, man. Like I don't think they could have found a better voice, you know? I almost felt like maybe Elizabeth Banks could have done it. But I don't know. What did you think about Jack Black as Bowser?
He was perfect. Him and there's someone else. No, mainly him. The only time you knew it was Jack Black is when he was singing, which is fair. I don't think that's unreasonable. But I couldn't have seen someone else portraying Bowser and doing it. It felt like someone other than Robin Williams playing Genie in Aladdin. He was that role. They're not going to be able to replicate that. He did it perfectly.
100%. And I also have to agree that before we continue, I know you just said he doesn't. The only time he sounds like Jack Black is when he is singing. Now, before you put your hand up in the air and go, is this one of those kids movies with lots of singing in it? Like, no. This is not Shrek where does Shrek have a lot of singing in it? Like, I can't remember.
There's a lot of music, but perfect example. It's not like Aladdin.
Exactly. It's not like a Frozen, an Aladdin. It's not like a musical. It has a musical number in it from Bowser, which is more played up as a joke than it is serious. You know what I mean? And I just found out something, Alannis. You're going to be upset. There is an end credits scene after the credits.
Yeah.
Upset because we didn't see that, but we thought we saw the end credits scene, the last bit, and we walked out. To our surprise, it wasn't. So I don't think Jack Black was. Yeah, you couldn't get someone better. And now I want to blow your mind with something. I was right. The voice of the real life video game Mario was Mario's dad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was interesting having his dad in it. That was an interesting choice.
Yeah, and someone named Jessica DeSico played Mario's mum.
That person.
She was in the Muppet Babies, Camp WWE. Minions, Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, Teen Titans Go. So she
does a lot of voice work.
Yeah, definitely. And she's in another 3D sort of kids movie coming up as well. Let's talk about Toad, Keegan-Michael Key. What do you think?
I'm not sure what I know him from, but I think
yes, you know who Keegan-Michael fucking Key is. Come on, man. I'm going to show you who it is right now. Give me a second. Okay, so the guy that did Toad's voice is this guy. I can't believe you don't know this. This is great.
Well,
That is the voice of Toad.
he did a good job.
He was also in Predator, the Predator, from 2018.
Ah, yes, yeah.
That's the voice of Toad. What did you think? He did a good job, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know how he
sound like
that
him.
high pitched voice.
Yeah.
It was very good. And now we come to the big one that I am hearing the most complaints on, yeah? And that is Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Now, personally, I don't have a problem. I thought he was really good as Donkey Kong. And people are kind of saying it feels like Seth Rogen came along and just read the lines as Seth Rogen and walked away kind of thing. Like, hey, I'm talking Krusty. You know what I mean? Like, did he talking Krusty? Came into Seth Rogen, you know? But I always feel like that's why they got it. Because of his voice.
Yeah, I think that's what they were wanting from that. And I think it fitted.
Definitely. I like that they included the Seth Rogen laugh. You know what I mean? Like that iconic laugh, you know? What did you think about like the inclusions of things like Diddy Kong? Sort of the background, we got sort of like the bomb dude. We got that.
He stole the show. That.
Yeah, so like the big bomb, as everyone knows, like the big bomb, like when you light it on fire, the bomb, that thing from Super Mario 64, he explodes and he's got a wicked shit while he's sitting there like I'm not going to give away a spoiler. He's sitting there and it's like meant to be a nice moment or whatever, and someone like shoots a bit of fire or something and it catches his wick and he's like trying to put it out and shit and just blows up. Like that was decent. And then the star from Mario Galaxy.
Oh man, that was the MVP of the movie was the star.
So for all of you wondering what we're talking about, if you know the little like star that helps you on Mario Galaxy, they made it a character in this where it's sort of a really cute, got a cute voice, like a little baby, like a toddler, you know what I mean, or whatever. And it just hates being a captive in a cage, and it just talks the truth where everyone's like, you know, hoping they're going to survive, hoping they're going to get rescued, something like that, and they're just making the best of the situation. And this star's just like, everything is bleak. We're all going to die. Nothing's going to bring sweet relief like death. You know what I mean? I love how the penguins are in the other cage and they're like, would you shut up? Like, we're so depressed. Like, and that comes to something I really want to talk about, which is the action in this movie. Now, this movie is so fun with the amount of action they throw in. The Mario Kart inclusion was gold. What did you think about how we were introduced to the Mario Karts, where there was no karts until they went to Donkey Kong's world, and the guy that opened the door was like, follow me, and then gets in his car, puts the glasses on and drives him, and you're like, and then later they're like, oh, Bowser's coming here to destroy it or whatever, and they're like, we're going to need carts, and then suddenly they're in their carts, and that whole scene of like, they go through a lot of the Mario Kart tracks that wouldn't you say, like they show a couple, you know what I mean, and then go to Rainbow Road, and it's like sort of the big Rainbow Road is like leading up to the climax, but like that part was just in 4DX so fucking fun, man. Like there was a part right where like water sprays you in the face, like directly in the fucking eyeballs, and it's not a little bit of water, it's a fucking lot of water. And it happened multiple times in the movie too. But it happened at this point for me and Alan where like the whole cinema was moving from the whatever, and then there's like bullets whooshing past your head, so you're hearing like, and then you're getting punched in the back, and suddenly this water just goes straight in the face, and me and you just like lost it, bro. We started dying of laughter. Fucking fun. And something you mentioned, which you loved in the cinema, was when it rained.
Yeah. It was so subtle. And also, I think it happened at one point when they're on... No, it was when they were on the water, on the boat or whatever. And it's got this very subtle rainfall falling on you.
Yeah, it's like it's probably like it's not a constant rain, but it's like every 3 seconds you'll get like a little sort of couple of drops. But man, like I'm telling you, I had the best time at a movie in such a long time tonight, man. It was so good. The movie, the experience. I'm telling you now, if you haven't done 4DX, I can't stress it enough. You've got to do it. That's my main takeaway from this. Me and Alan walked out and literally said, when we can't go back. we've come this far. We're never going back unless we have to. You know, like if they release a Halloween movie, I very much doubt it's going to be in 4DX or something like that. You know? Can you imagine how boring Halloween Ends would have been in 4D fucking X, bro? What a snooze fest. I also think we should talk about the thing about 4DX, which is it can be a concern for people that don't want things ruined for them. So I'd say some genres of movies may not work in this movie. So in this format, for instance, Scream. I heard Scream was in 4DX. We didn't see it. We didn't get to see it. I would have loved to just to see what it was like. But I heard people say it actually kind of ruined the experience because people are laughing. People are like blown away by this movement and by all like it's like a theme park ride. It literally is like being on a roller coaster. Like that's how much it jerks you around. It's fucking awesome. Like I felt like I was at Movie World, and that was awesome. You know, like Universal Studios or something. But I think for movies, there are movies that it just wouldn't suit. Like I don't know, like even
Coldplay concert,
like Superbad or Road Trip, all these comedy movies, like they would not work on 4DX because it defeats the purpose. But for like action-packed movies, like say a John Wick, a Marvel movie, a DC movie, 4DX is a great experience. You know, well, from what we felt with Mario anyway, being our first time. But I mean, let's get into spoiler territory quickly, and let's talk about sort of the main plot driver. So if you haven't seen the movie, we're going to spoil it right now. I'm putting the X up, meaning back away. If you don't want it spoiled before you back away. Right now. So another complaint I'm hearing is the story's thin.
I don't think it needed to be thick though.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean by that too, and I agree. But let's just play devil's advocate here, yeah, and say what the story is, like the motive for Bowser, what the whole premise is, and make people understand why people are saying it's a little thin. So Bowser's the whole driver behind this is Bowser's coming to destroy the kingdom, but he isn't. He really isn't coming to destroy the kingdom. What he wants is to marry Princess Peach. He's like obsessed with Princess Peach, loves her, thinks she's the coolest thing on earth. Hence the singing part, because he is singing a ballad to Princess Peach, like that he wrote. Like she's not there, but he's like singing about it and whatever. And it's a hilarious bit in the movie. But like that was the main gripe that people have with it, is that it's Bowser coming to get the princess, marry her, and Mario trying to save her and also save his brother. Basically, it's not Mario saving Princess Peach like it would be in the game. It's more Mario isn't driven to save her. He's driven to save Luigi. Like that's his end goal. Because Bowser has taken Luigi captive in his area, like his world. And they must have gotten split up during the warp pipe part, where like for some reason he came out at a different portion to what Mario landed. So he kind of fell into the arms of Bowser, and Mario has to go get him. And the whole message is that like them together, they can do anything, sort of thing. So that's like it's like a positive message, you know. Them that they say us together, we can do anything. You know what I mean? So the movie's very thin story wise. I've heard some critics saying things like it's very childish, it's very goofy, but I don't know what they were expecting from
a Mario movie.
Mario 3D kids movie, you know, like it is done by Illumination, who we've seen do Minions, Despicable Me. I don't know what you were expecting, because to me, this reached heights that I didn't think it would reach. I think Illumination did such a good job that it's unexpected. I was totally blown away, because they're not just a studio now that does Despicable Me and Minions. You know what I mean? They are now, I feel like, solidified with it. They even said, is it time we start looking at these guys as maybe even a new Pixar?
Yes, I feel so.
I feel like if they make another one on this level of good, and then maybe branch out to other Nintendo properties, or even a different property IP, like completely, I think as long as they keep making it like this, they're gonna top what Pixar is known for now. Because I almost feel like Pixar have dropped in quality and they sort of have got the same sort of formula for their movies for every single movie. And after a while, you start realizing that it's just the same premise as each other, but with a different skin, a different story. You know what I mean? But it does have the same beats nearly. Like, you know, it starts off fun, happy. Then there's the point of contention. Then there's them trying to fix it, which involves some sad shit. And then the wrap up at the end, which can either be really happy and sad and funny, or really happy and funny, or it can be really sad and meaningful. You know, that's kind of what you expect from Pixar. Whereas with Illumination, they kind of went, no, this movie's going to just be a fucking good time. You know, I mean, did DreamWorks even make movies? I was thinking about it on the way home, and I was like, DreamWorks were once like the Pixar, like sort of a opponent.
I remember I think they did in going now because Encanto and that is Pixar's Disney, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
no, but Disney doesn't Disney DreamWorks as well?
Maybe.
Like, I don't even know what's the last movie we got from DreamWorks. Would it have been like Puss in Boots?
Actually, that's a good point. I think that may be what the last one was.
I'm having a look now. That's weird. Steven Spielberg owns it.
Good point. I think that.
Okay, so the last movies they made were. What the fuck? Is this movie even out yet? No, in theaters this summer. So their next movie is like The Teenage Kraken, it's called.
I've not heard of it.
They made Trolls.
Yes.
Puss in Boots. The Bad Guys. Trolls World Tour. Abominable. The Boss Baby. Spirit. The Croods. And then Shrek. And they also made that Camp Cretaceous apparently for Jurassic World on Netflix. Yeah. So basically what I'm trying to get at is that I feel like these guys have become what DreamWorks once were with things like Shrek and things like that. And I feel like they've even sort of stepped into the realm of being as widely critically loved as Pixar, you know? So, I mean, I think we've said basically everything we could possibly say on this movie, you know? Like, I just suggest highly going to see it. Take your kids. The kids are going to love this movie. That's also what I really liked about this movie is the fact that it wasn't difficult for kids to process. The story is so straightforward that the kids are never going to be lost. Even my kid, who's like nearly 10, he's 10 next week, who's very intelligent, plays chess. And I don't even know how to play chess. And he tried to teach me how to play chess. And I was just like, I don't get it. Like, this kid is like so smart. And even he has trouble processing complex story plots, especially things like time travel, different dimensions where there's two of you. He's always like, how can there be two of you at the same time in the same place? Like, and you're like, because they've gone back in time. But if they've gone back in time, how are they there? You know what I mean? Like, it's just confusing for kids. This movie is kid friendly from this plot to the humor to the animation to the funniness to the characters. It's all kid friendly, but it's also so Nintendo and so nostalgic that it's going to speak to adults as well.
Absolutely.
I honestly think you can go to this movie at the age of 6 and enjoy it, at the age of 3 and enjoy it, at the age of 16 and enjoy it, or at the age of 35 and enjoy it. 40. If you grew up with any sort of form of love for Mario, you will like this movie.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, I don't know what you were expecting, because I think this is the best outcome we could have gotten. Considering how many people were worried about Chris Pratt voicing Mario and stuff. So with that, let's give it a final rating. Of course, you all know that we've surely been doing video game movies ranked and reviewed, where we're trying to do all the video game movies ever made and rank them against each other into one big list from best to worst, or worst to best, whichever way you want to put it. And the reason we started doing that simply was because of this movie right here. So the whole time we've been doing ranked and reviewed video game movies, it was because of this coming. We knew this was coming, and we knew we were going to do this, you know? So keep that in mind, because we're not going to be ranking this against the other movies that we've already reviewed tonight. That's going to be another episode. where we're going to bring this in. So for now, we're just going to give you a straight up review score. Unless you, ALANNIS, want to quickly, do we even remember what we've done? Like, I can bring it up.
Out of what we reviewed, I would put this at the top.
Yeah?
Yeah, out of what we've seen.
I am gonna have to say I agree, but that's because I don't know, man. Because I think
Actually, yeah, I don't know.
I think the 40X is what's doing it mainly for me. Because, dude, it's really hard for me. I know people are gonna look at me like fucking loser or whatever, and you're gonna be like, I completely disagree. But like for me, the first video game adapted movie that I really had respect and love for was Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
That's because I know the sub, like I know what it's about. I know Pokemon. Like, I'm a Pokemon guy. I like Pokemon. So for me, Pokemon was great. Detective Pikachu, you know, it was fucking awesome. But I get people not understanding it or liking it if they don't know Pokemon or care for Pokemon. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at what we've done so far, yeah? And we've done, I think the first one was Uncharted. Would that be right?
Yes, I think so.
I'm looking out. Uncharted, we've done. Okay, so yeah, Uncharted is our first video game movie we did, followed by we did Uncharted.
Mario?
We did Tomb Raider. That was 2018 Tomb Raider. We did Super Mario Brothers 1993. We did there's more. Hold on. Just stick with me for a second. I'm looking. It's a long time ago. We did then we did Detective Pikachu. Yep. Then we did Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And we did Tomb Raider 2001. Now that I've said them out loud, I know you were a really big fan of Sonic 2.
Yes.
From memory. Would you put this above Sonic 2?
It's hard though. I think I'll need to see it not in 40X to really rank it against the others.
Man, I'm going to have to stop you right there in your tracks and say this is fucking way better than Sonic or Sonic 2. Those movies are fine. They're great. But they are even more kiddish to me than this movie was.
Yeah, true.
I feel like the element that ruins Sonic is the real world element. I think if they'd made Sonic the movie like this, where it was set in Green Hill Zone, we got like the casino world, we got all this shit, but instead we got fucking an Alvin and the Chipmunks with Sonic the Hedgehog. You know what I mean? Like, without the dude from My Name Is Earl. So I'm going to say, look, simply out of video game movie adapted things, this is going at number 1 for me.
So yeah, I'll put it there. If I change it later, I do, but I'll put it there for now as well.
So with that, I'm going to give this, especially in 4DX, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5.
I'm going to give it in 4DX a 5. To remove that, I'll give it a 4.
So there you have it, man. Like, this is one of the highlights of my year. Yeah? Same with you?
Absolutely.
And as I said before, look, The Last of Us was great as a TV adapted series. I don't think The Last of Us would work for a movie as well as this did. I think you need a series to, like, expand it. You know what I mean? Like, with The Last of Us, it needs more time. It needs more hours, and you can't do a 10-hour fucking movie. You know what I mean? So I think this suited the movie format more than something, say, like The Last of Us, you know? And that's why I feel like Uncharted didn't work very well either, is because we didn't get to draw it out and kind of get that long experience that Uncharted sort of deserves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that, I can't wait for Super Mario Brothers, the movie 2. I can't wait for more 4DX. I'm telling you guys, go do it. Go see it in 4DX. In America, I believe it's called V-Box. And yeah, forget IMAX. IMAX is fucking shit, man. Like, okay, yeah, sure, it's good screen. Yeah, sure, the 3D is great in it. But like, the actual auditorium where you sit sucks. It's so cramped. The seats are uncomfortable. people are walking over you. You can't barely, like, you have to squeeze up against your chair when people want to squeeze past you and shit. You're fucking this close to the screen, and the screen's so fucking big that, like, dude, you can sit in the last row, like this far back in IMAX, and you're still going. There's 2 people on the screen. Like, you're just trying to look at 2 people talking, and you're like, yeah, like, you have to bend because you're not far or not. The screen's all well and good being big, but if you can't sit far away from it, you may as well fucking be like this to a television. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think I'm never going back to IMAX again, considering the price, the experience. If you have to pay for 40X or IMAX, you're gonna go 40X, aren't you?
And it's cheaper as well.
It's $10 cheaper. Like, that's not a little bit of money. That's like, for a movie ticket, that's half another movie ticket, nearly.
Yeah.
So when you add up 2 people, that is a movie ticket. So, 40X all the way. Super Mario Brothers, hell of a good time. Go see it. Don't listen to anyone shooting on it, because I almost feel like you had to be a real Grinch to not find any joy in this movie at all. If anyone sees this movie and they're like, it was just all round terrible, they're the Grinch.
Yeah. And they probably like Mobius. Yeah,
probably. Oh, man. Let's pray that Jared Leto's not cast in any of these movies going forward. It's his demographic, but... yes, he likes sleeping with underage girls. We all know that. So, with that, we're going to move on, and we will see you guys for our next ranked and reviewed episode. I believe, as much as I don't want to see the movie, I said I'd go with ALANNIS because I'm the 40X experience. We're going to be doing Dungeons and Dragons. I can't believe I am even saying the words that I am going to say, which is I am going to see Dungeons and fucking Dragons. You know what I mean? Like,
but after that, we will have Evil Dead as well.
Yeah, but that's not 40X as far as...
It's not. This is a regular movie. I feel like that little star now, except it's just my pessimism is completely centered on regular movies.
It's like, man... If people think we're not seeing Indiana Jones, and like, dude, there are so many good movies coming out. I can't fucking wait for 40X. I just wish we'd discovered this earlier. I wonder how long Village has had it.
Yeah.
So with that, as always, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. We hope you enjoyed this review. We hope it was informative. We hope it gets you excited to go see this movie if you haven't, or if you have seen it, you enjoyed it and you agree with what we say. We love you all. As always, I've been your host, TOMYE West. Joining me, as always, has been my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus. And we will see you on our next review. Thanks for joining us, guys. Peace.
Peace.